The markets are still all over the place, and we're not really sure what's happening up and down. It's all going everywhere. I recently just talked about this in the community. I posted about technical analysis, a bit of information about it, where price targets, price points, and hopefully can we see some sort of movement happening in crypto. So link is in the description if you're interested in joining. In this video, what I want to do is quickly go over some of the pools that I'm actually in at the moment on different chains, and pretty much been farming these for the last couple of days, about a week, so give or take, and have been obviously staying within range. And as you can see, we're hit with another big green red candle, or red candles again, knocked out the entire day nearly of growth that has happened. So, it's crypto, it's happening. Zoom out, touch grass, the whole lot. So first position I'm looking at over here is on PancakeSwap, and what I want to quickly show you is Wrapped ETH CB BTC. Going to struggle with that one, so we're just going to go with BTC. There's two positions here. Obviously, we're on the base chain, and it's 79% and 63%. And again, if we jump over here to VFAT, and I think if I look for this, yeah, so still around 84%. There is one here that's shown 276%. So definitely, it's worth to always look around to see where the percentages are coming from and what's happening. Could be a new enough pool, and this is done through Aerodrome. Yeah, so it's Aerodrome, not PancakeSwap. So definitely, as I said, worth to check out. I think I'm actually in this one here. So you can see already there by just looking around, you can see the different opportunities. But I'm getting around 50 to 60%, 50% I think on it. And it has been doing decent enough for me. As I said, the reason I get into Wrapped ETH and BTC is pretty much because both of them move together. So if we look over here at the correlation matrix, you can see Wrapped ETH and BTC is pretty much nearly the best one up there for movement in comparison to one another. So it's definitely what, for me personally, is happy to get into it. Again, BNB and Wrapped ETH could also be a good one, because you can see it there, 0.76. And I'm just curious, is there any positions there for that while we're here? So wrap BNB and quickly have a look. So it took a few minutes, still loading up over here on PancakeSwap. So Wrapped ETH, wrap BNB, yeah, nothing in it. You can see TVL there, obviously APR, so not worth it there. So I would have thought there would have been more potentially there for that. So definitely something to keep an eye out if it happens to pop up on a chain somewhere along the line. So as I said, that's the first position that I'm comfortably farming away. Obviously I reduced almost 70% of the positions I had in the riskier projects. Obviously the less blue chip assets, less of the ones that are maybe protocols, exchanges, dexes, all these things, because I'm wanting to, when markets are like this, and like this, they tend to happen, is I tend to try and farm blue chip assets, the core ones that I think over the long term will stand. Well and truly, I've been a follower of Sonic for a long time. I'm not farming this whatsoever anymore. I'm still involved in around the ecosystem, but I'm not farming it because of pretty much overall it seems like everything was mishandled, and I don't know really where it's going at this moment in time, and still don't know. So still have a hole in the bag of this, hold a lot of different ecosystem tokens, but again, I'm not farming, because when the core chain asset token is not performing well, entire chain, everything drops down. So one of the key reasons why I tend to get into the main token of the chain and then venture into the other tokens within the ecosystem. So as I mentioned, the first one was, what was it, Wrapped ETH and BNB. So again, CBBC, I think it is. Yeah, so I've been in this one, happy to stay in it, obviously, because of how tight they correlate to each other. So long term, as I always mention, my long term is to hold more Ethereum, more Bitcoin, and pretty much this position is going to allow me to do that, because now what happens is I can farm this position and in turn use rewards to potentially build it up and keep compounding into it. But now that I see it, I will definitely be taking a closer look over here at this one that I was looking at here, which is 276%. I have to make it, like always, make it a decent range just to see what's actually changes in it. And I just make it 10 again. Yeah, so either way, I'm still going to be down and around my percentage anyway. So as I said, you can see there 21% width range I tend to go for, if not higher. But as I said, 50% APR is still decent, holding these two main tokens, I suppose. The next position that I'm looking at and I'm currently farming is Wrapped ETH USDC. So you can see pretty much where I'm going with this. and wrapped ETH USDC. So this is the main one I'm in for this position. So wrapped ETH USDC, and again I tend to go for the wider range. It mightn't be as wide on this one, I think, but actually it's much higher now. So again, what I would be looking to do if I'm getting into this right now is make a much bigger range. Again, bringing it to 89, maybe up to closer to 100%. And the key reason for doing this is I pretty much treat this as an opportunity to generate some revenue, cash, I suppose, from the position. Obviously, my focus here is I tend to lend capital, so I could lend Bitcoin to Aave, I could get USDC, I get into it, I pretty much farm it at a higher APR, which generates a bit more profit, a bit more cash. I then look to repay my loan back and pretty much just keep going like that. So I end up having my Bitcoin technically working for me, not in an LP range, but as I said, it's pretty much earning for me through liquidity position. Key thing to remember here is if I go out of range to the downside, I have to understand, I have to accept the impact of this. For me, it's allowing me to buy Ethereum a little bit cheaper. Would I buy it right now? Possibly, considering what's happening in the market. So this approach allows me to earn and also allows me to pretty much be able to dollar cost average into Ethereum as it drops in price. If it shoots up out of price, then I can easily just close the position, pay my loan back, and probably have a little bit of extra there. So again, it's more or less a cash flow position that's going to generate daily income for me and pretty much earn from there. And the last position that I'm actually looking at today is USDT and wrapped BNB. Again, you can see here what I'm doing is, if we focusing on USDT and wrapped BNB, is looking at them chains, them tokens that are pretty much the main token of the chain. This one is pretty much, it's a little bit different. It's not necessarily a cash flow position. I'm looking to try and see, can I start building out more of a bag for BNB? I think with Aster, which I recently talked about in videos, it has done really well in the chain, and I think with the whole, they brought out a new meme ecosystem for meme coins and stuff like that. But I think the opportunity here for it is massive, for the simple reason is that BNB is not going to go anywhere. The Binance Smart Chain is not going to go anywhere. So if we jump over here, I think it is. So it was USDT, and I think it was, I was getting, when I looked at it earlier on today, it was around 40%. So yeah, USDT, wrapped BNB, you can see it here, is 69%. So again, what we'll look to do is drop this a little bit lower. So even if we come closer to 20, and just say 20 again, around 50%. This is what I was looking at earlier on today, and it's 40% width in the range, and pretty much it's going to allow me to dollar cost average into BNB on the way down as the markets kind of correct and consolidate potentially. The key here is I'm doing the exact same approach here. What I do is I lend my Ethereum, in this case, I think it's, yeah, I lend my Ethereum, and with Ethereum, I pretty much borrow it all then from using Aave. So again, if you just jump over here, and I think it's on base chain, so I can lend my Coinbase BTC over here. It's only 4%. I'm not worried about that, but the thing about it here, it allows me then to actually borrow on the back of it. So I can borrow the USDC here. It's a 5% borrow rate. It's not too bad in fairness, and pretty much I can earn, like I mentioned in the previous one, 100 and something percent it was. In this case, obviously it's over on BNB chain. So where are we? So I can deposit Ethereum into this, again 0.55%. I can borrow USDC, it's a little bit lower even here, 4.69%. And again, with this, as long as I'm outperforming that 4.69% and I keep a good LTV, and again, if you're not sure about LTVs, it's basically you need to have a loan to value. You don't want to be going up to 90%. You want to keep it around maybe 40%, in around there, to kind of just give you a bit of wiggle room, especially when markets kind of do crazy things, when prices start dropping just for whatever reason. So definitely need to keep some wiggle room for that. Pretty much that is what I do on a daily basis. Set wider ranges, look for different positions, don't overthink it, don't look for 40, 50, 60 different positions, don't try and overcomplicate something that can be really just done simply and minimalistic. I suppose the key here, you want to, when markets are like this and they're all over the shop, what you want to be doing is you need to be looking at different tokens that are less risk, blue chip assets, and ones that can kind of really stand over the period of time when crypto is going all over the shop. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Again, if you're interested in joining the group, links should be below in the description. If you're interested in kind of building out a portfolio, I think I have a link below as well. It's a free, you can do it, you can just use it yourself to kind of build up your own portfolio, get you an idea, get a bigger picture of where you're going with your crypto bags. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.